And happy Friday. Good afternoon. First Alert Meteorologist Diane Phillips here with
meteorologist Stone Schaefer.
Yeah, so we're hanging out with you on this Friday. We are going to be tracking the potential for some storms today, so that's why we kind of wanted to tag teams because we've been watching it here the last couple of hours, but we wanted to make sure that you had all the information that you needed going into the weekend, and especially tonight, because with it being summer, I bet there's a lot of events and people just want to get outside.
Yeah, especially as we're getting to the 4th of July season where people maybe have next week off.
Good point.
So they're already on their vacations or at least on their break starting really probably today.
Right, and yeah, they might have taken even today off to go out and kind of get an early jump on the weekend. So we should probably just jump right into the forecast. So we are watching the potential for some stronger storms in parts of mid-Michigan. I still want everybody to be weather aware whenever we're talking thunderstorms with the lightning concern, but you are going to find that there is one location in particular that is going to be looking at that storm potential. So actually, since I am talking about it, let's just kind of start with our severe weather outlook. I know I had radar up there, but this kind of paints the picture, kind of sets the stage for us. So Stone, we have that slight risk across the thumb and into Genesee County, but we've also seen some changes in this outlook already today.
Yeah, for their midday update, right before actually our noon newscast, they did end up shifting that slight risk just a little bit farther west, now including, I'd say, a majority of Saginaw County, Shiawassee County, Bay City's right on that edge of that slight to marginal risk. I don't think they changed the marginal risk. I think that's in the same spot for areas like Standish, like Midland, down to Mount Pleasant, Alma, right on that edge there. So that was that midday update. Then the Storm Prediction Center actually did do a mesoscale discussion where they talked about the possibility of a watch. They haven't issued it quite yet. We'll see how they issue it. It should be soon. That was about, 30 minutes, 45 minutes ago they issued that discussion saying there's going to be a chance. So if you see me checking my watch, we'll see if they've issued that watch for, I'd imagine that area you see in the slight. So Saginaw County East down to Shiawassee, Genesee, and Lapeer counties.
Right, and we do not issue the severe thunderstorm watches or warnings. Those actually come from the National Weather Service. So what's going on is the Storm Prediction Center in Oklahoma, they are calling into the National Weather Service offices in Grand Rapids, Detroit, and they're going to work together, the two offices, and they're going to decide which counties need that watch. So that's why we are waiting for that information, because they kind of give us a little heads up of a chance that that watch could be coming in. So hopefully that'll come here while we're here at the First Alert Desk so that we can give you the latest information. But when in doubt, if we do wrap up by the time that that watch gets issued, if they issue the watch, then you can always get that information on the First Alert weather app. But we are going to be watching this severe weather outlook because our main concerns are going to be mainly wind, but we will also have a little bit of that tornado threat that's also going to be possible in some of our locations. So I want to jump back here to...
Oh, speak of it, they just issued it.
There we go. Oh, yep, it is showing up here. So I'm actually going to switch over to one of our alert pages. So then you don't have radar on there. So let's bring those in. I am going to be updating this on the fly, but what time does that watch go?
It goes until 9 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern.
All right, so let's
just
pull that map up and let's see who's involved. So yes, everybody who was in that slight risk, but also including all of Bay and Midland counties. So this is going to include Huron, Sanilac, Tuscola, Lapeer, Genesee, Shiawassee, Saginaw, Bay, and Midland counties. We have the severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m. Now what this means is that we do have the conditions that are favorable for us to be looking at strong to severe thunderstorms. We don't have them yet. The watches we're watching for them. So the warning is when they are actively happening. So we have that watch. This is when we want you keeping an eye to the First Alert weather app. We want you being weather aware. I'm actually going to bring up our First Alert weather app so that you can get that downloaded in case you don't have that on your cell phone, because actually my phone is just going to be going off here with those watches coming in as well. So we are going to be seeing those not only here in mid-Michigan, but you will also see that they are further south for the southern half. So with it being a Friday, I know that some folks, they could be traveling, and if you're in southeast Michigan or even just kind of getting closer towards 127 and even southwest Michigan, they also have that severe thunderstorm watch. So we're just going to be here on the leading edge. Was there any new information issued in that watch?
Looking at it, the primary threats are just the strong winds up to 70 miles per hour possible, which I think is really what we've been saying. This threat does look to be that strong wind threat as we get through the rest of our afternoon. There could be some small hail. I'm not going to count out two. We've been sort of talking about maybe a very small tornado chance as you move probably closer to the water shorelines over the next couple of hours.
Yes, the lakeshore communities are going to be what we are watching for that severe thunderstorm, or excuse me, that tornado threat. So bringing back kind of our severe weather threats that we are watching for. That tornado threat is going to be extremely low, and it's actually going to be, let me kind of pull our information up here because I kind of want to show you a little bit. We're going to kind of dig into the data here. So I'm waiting for this website to load. A little slow here. Oh.
Time is out. Well, while she's looking that up, a reminder, if you have any questions, head over to our Facebook page at WNEM TV5 News, and you can send in your questions. We'll try to answer them to the best of our abilities, because obviously we have a lot going on, so sometimes we miss questions, sometimes we may not have the perfect answer for you, but we'll try our best to give you the information that can help you plan the rest of your day. And I think another reminder is this isn't going to be an all-day event. It's actually really, again, up till about 9 p.m. when they had that watch, where that really looks to be our timetable for this severe weather threat for the afternoon.
All right, so I pulled up the map that I wanted to share with you, and this is going to be our mesoscale. So this is kind of the small detailed layer of the atmosphere. And mainly what this map is looking at, this is our supercell composite. So when we talk supercells, that means that we have the potential for that tornado threat here. And we can see that we have that circle right here across the thumb and kind of digging down into Lapeer County and even getting close to the Detroit metro. So we are going to be watching for some decent ingredients here. The one thing that I want to point out is that it is still going to influence kind of that shoreline of Huron County, but with just the winds coming off the lake, I know of being here for a couple of years and also working in markets closer towards Lake Erie, the lakes can definitely start to spin. They can give that rotation, the lake breeze interacts. And that's why we are really concerned with the lakeshore communities as far as that tornado threat. So the further inland that goes, that's going to be less likely. So we had in our outlook for Genesee County that you were in the slight, same with Saginaw. I didn't see anything that was going to be able to rotate there. So we are going to find, as we take a check of that tornado threat is not necessarily going to be for folks into the Tri-Cities or Genesee County or even along I-69, potentially closer towards Lapeer. That is the one exception. But again, our lakeshore communities, those are the locations that we want watching. Yeah. So if you do live in a mobile or manufactured home and you are into the thumb, maybe make a road trip to your friend's house that's further inland, or just know that they have a little bit of a house or a basement or something, just because we do have that threat there. It's not a slam dunk in the forecast that it will happen, but with the possibility being there, we want to be upfront that we want you just taking precautions and kind of thinking ahead here if that were to happen, because again, the lakes, the Great Lakes, they're great to have a lot of fun on.
Yes.
But they can definitely play with the weather, and suddenly we can have storms that are spinning just because of them. So we got to be extra cautious here.
So Christopher asked, can we show the radar? We'll get to that real quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously you can see on the background we do have that watch in place for severe thunderstorms. Right now, radar though pretty quiet. There's just that cell just to the south, southwest of Midland, in that area that's been trying to develop. And you start to see that line, I think, of where we're going to have to just keep an eye on here over the next couple of hours, where we're just going to see it from really the Tri-Cities all the way down to really the Kalamazoo area. And that will move to the east starting right about now up till when that watch expires.
Yeah, so we're actually watching some of these storms building closer to the Lansing area. So what is actually causing the storm potential is a cold front. So this is going to start to move through that front placement actually a little bit further west than what we're actually seeing the storms come across. But we do still have some thunderstorms around the Kalamazoo area, south of Grand Rapids, closer to 131. That's going to kind of be the beginnings and where all of the action starts to take off and brew a little bit. So we are seeing some of that start to fill in coming west of 127 through Clinton County. So that so far hasn't detected any lightning with it, but we will be watching as that comes closer towards mid-Michigan. So what I'm really anticipating is to start to see some of these storms develop here, kind of cutting through the Tri-Cities and then building in southwest. west, and then that will continue to pull eastward. So that's when here through the afternoon, we'll really be watching for that storm potential because the cold front will be here.
Yes.
And thankfully it'll move through about 8, 9 o'clock is when it will be past us. So for severe weather later into the night, not really a concern there. It's more an afternoon and evening threat.
Yeah, a little bit earlier in the day than maybe what we've been typically seeing this season. I think the good thing, though, is you're traveling north today. Maybe you're going up north, Holton Lake, even farther north than that. Most of that severe weather chance stays south of you. So if you're heading out that way through the rest of the day, always a good thing to see that severe weather chance stay south. And even for the people that are camping, maybe you don't have service in some of those areas, still be aware because there could be a few cells, I think, could produce stronger storms,
yes.
But very quick, not the main threat for today.
Right, and just a friendly reminder, whenever there's lightning, head inside. Yes. Even if it's not a severe thunderstorm, even if it doesn't have a warning on it, take caution, head inside. I know it kind of ruins the fun of the weekend, but you got to be careful. Getting hurt is definitely going to ruin the weekend.
I know, I think that was in South Carolina earlier this week where 20 people had to go to the hospital because they were out on the lake and lightning hit nearby.
Oh, yeah. So very much be cautious, of course, especially our boaters. Lake Huron's been warming up as well. So before we hop into the hour by hour, I think it's a good time now that we have that watch that's come in. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get reorganized here, and we'll be talking about the potential for storms, and we'll be watching even as more of these develop here. Yep. So we're going to take a quick break and be right back. Welcome back. We are going to be continuing to talk about the potential for some thunderstorms. We already have a couple of them that are brewing. So diving right back into the info, I want to start with our hour by hour forecast because this is lining up pretty close to what we have.
There has been a little bit of debate from the weather models of either a little bit later, even some a little bit earlier, but this model we're using right here, it's actually doing a pretty good job. Locations a little off in some of the areas, but I think it's a pretty good representation of what we're going to see here over the next couple of hours.
Right, so as we move this forward, we are going to find that we anticipate around I anticipate close to 3 o'clock that we will have these storms that are going to be coming through the Tri-Cities, even extending down into Shiawassee County, and even some of that trying to build across Saginaw Bay. So this line, pretty good, of course. Some of the resolution on cities, you may think, oh, I was going to go outside right at 3 o'clock, or that's when my event starts. Just know that models are not exactly perfect down to the miles. So we are going to find, though, that the general idea is that we have it aligning with the bay, kind of coming out, and then that's going to be extending towards Shiawassee County.
Yeah, that's going to be your general location. It's not going to be perfect. It could be a little bit earlier, a little bit later as well when it comes to timing. So just remember that if you see, oh, it misses my city, it may be that you actually do get a cell that develops over you.
Exactly. So we will continue to see as this cold front pushes through here. We are at the 4 o'clock hour. I kind of am breaking this down a little bit to where it is across the thumb. Now, it is already populating some cells here right across the shoreline. So I would be monitoring this cell here just because it is going to align pretty close with the water. So that's where we could have any of that rotation coming in. These cells move across, they interact with that lake boundary, and then that's when they start to take off and start to rotate. But these cells that we have here closer towards Tuscola County and even northern Lapeer County, that should be just far enough from the water to where that rotation component should start to settle down within these storms. But, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we just had a question about Gratiot County, and I think your timetable is probably here in the next hour, if you are going to see some, we're again already seeing some development just to the sort of southwest, and then Midland County seeing some development. So that's going to be an area probably here in the next hour. You do see some storms develop and maybe become strong to severe.
Yes, and again, that's also where we have that marginal risk.
Yes.
So you are going to kind of be on the part of this where the storms are starting to build and fire rather than having them come through. So being towards Gratiot, Midland counties, you are going to be kind of in the initiation zone rather than watching these come through. Still, be mindful of the weather coming in. So here at 6 o'clock, we do have that front that does continue to pass. You can see it's trying to bring a lot of the rainfall out over Lake Huron. Still, though, seeing some rain closer towards Genesee and Lapeer counties along I-69. So this is going to start to move out of mid-Michigan to where we're hoping by 8 o'clock that we can give you the all clear. So that means that if you want to maybe do a bonfire tonight, your plans won't be ruined there. The one pro tip, though, that I would say, I know I've had people tell me throughout the years, cover up your firewood. If you want to have a fire, cover it up since it's going to rain, and then you don't have to worry about trying to have a s'more over some wet firewood. So if you do have that on the plans for tonight, you'll want to maybe tarp that up or bring your firewood under cover. Just be cautious still if you are going to have a fire. It's still dry in some parts. I know we had closer towards Elmont some flooding yesterday, and even towards Ashley we picked up a lot of rain there too.
Shiawassee County, I had a few photos sent in of some sitting water from even the last few days. It just seems like we haven't gotten a break of, sure, the whole day doesn't rain, but you get that one cell that just slowly moves through, heavy rainfall with all that moisture we've had in the atmosphere, and you get that quick flooding.
Yes, and even heavy rain is going to be something that we have to watch for here as well. I know we kind of touched on that isolated tornado threat, but we will find that heavy rain. That's also going to be possible. Some of these cells come up, they brew there, and then they sit and they dump rain. So that's going to be possible. And the other main concern is going to be the wind threat within these storms. So we could be seeing those around 60 miles per hour or faster. The other thing is that we've kind of been looking at a microburst setup, which is kind of what we've also been tracking here through the week. But what a microburst does is it takes all that air from above and then it pushes it down. So then you have all that fast air that comes and it hits the ground and then it pushes out. So that's why we are going to be watching for damaging winds within these storms, because that's more the setup that we have. So really be mindful of the heavy rain and the wind. That's really kind of the number one and number two threats with this. And then that tornado threat would be number three, just because it's more localized towards our lakeshore communities.
Yeah, and again, you see isolated tornado risk. That's it's a small risk still. I don't think it's going to be something that we see widespread. Like you said, shorelines as you get closer, and that will be probably what, 7, 8 p.m. We start to see that line move a little bit closer to the shoreline. That would be the time frame we could see a quick spin up, and then it moves on and you're done. And again, this is an all-day thing. I want to keep saying that. This is not going to ruin your day. If you have plans late tonight, probably past 8 p.m., especially in the Tri-Cities, you are going to be able to have your nightly plans. Like, don't cancel anything just yet, but make sure you're staying weather aware here, probably from 2 p.m. all the way till about 6, 7 p.m. when we had this line move through. Yes,
and with it starting a little bit earlier, we were looking closer towards 3, 4 o'clock. So with us starting to see these cells brewing and firing up, that is going to be signaling that that just leaves a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So that is going to be helpful if you do have some plans tonight. But we had talked about some heavy rainfall, and you're going to find that locations across 127 and further north don't really have a lot of readings here in the rain gauge, but it is going to be kind of right aligning with our severe weather outlook into the thumb and along I-69, just cutting into the Tri-Cities. I know it says Saginaw at 0.0. I anticipate some folks to be picking up on some rain, but you can kind of see some of those splotches that kind of have those numbers. So as that cell rolls through, brings the severe weather chance, it will bring the heavy rain. But thankfully, we aren't going to find extreme amounts here. But again, it's humid outside.
Yes.
We have the moisture that we can kind of tap into on these storms.
And you can also get almost a training effect. We saw this yesterday in areas where you get one cell, then another cell develops behind it, and it just sort of keeps that pattern. So maybe that's what the models could be struggling with a little bit. I know this is going to be more of a linear setup through the day, but you still could see that. We were seeing it a little bit yesterday. That line sort of formed, but still had some development on the backside that got areas like that in Lapeer County, and then even through areas like Ashley there.
In Gratiot County.
Yeah, in Gratiot County with some rain.
Yes. So as we go, we've kind of gone through the severe weather threats. I do still want to talk about the weekend, because that's looking nice. And also you had mentioned kind of some holiday travel potentially for folks who are off next week for Independence Day. So we are going to be previewing a little bit of an early taste of July July 4th. We also are going to be talking about another update on our radar, and then we are going to make sure that you have all the severe weather. We'll be answering those questions. But let's take a quick break. We'll get organized, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, we are going to continue to touch on that severe weather threat, but I do want to talk about the weekend because, as Stone had mentioned, some folks might be off for all of next week, and so they're ready to have some fun here going into Independence Day.
Yeah, I know there is some people already traveling this early afternoon into this morning to go head up north. And again, it looks like all of the region is going to have a pretty nice weekend. We head into Saturday. It is a little cooler Saturday. We will see temperatures lower 80s, but I think most people will be fine with that.
Right. A little more comfortable
yeah, a little
to be
more
outside.
comfortable than what we had last weekend, and even what we'll have for Sunday. And you have some sunshine, should be a dry day, and just a northwest wind, 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we get into Sunday, its temperatures a little bit warmer, a little bit quicker in the day, looking at 80s by midday, and then those 90s by about 2 to 3 p.m. That's where our highs should sit, upper 80s, lower 90s, and just that southwest wind at 5 to 10. There is some isolated rain chances. I think the afternoon could see some very, very small chances. I've also noticed that some of the models picking up in the morning very early on could see some light stuff.
You're right. Just a few returns are starting to come in as we go into Sunday morning. Also, as I've started forecasting here for the afternoon on my sheet here, I do kind of see also a signal for more potentially Sunday evening going into Monday, because Monday we do have that storm chance. But if you are going to be camping, or maybe you're going to just say, I want to stay cool after doing some swimming here, here's a look at some of the Great Lakes water temperatures currently. We are finding that, of course, Lake Erie, it's shallow on the western side, so that's why the buoys are at 77. But we do also have closer to South Haven water temperatures at around 77 there as well. The buoy around Muskegon's at about 69. So this week we've had some big heat, and that has done a number. A lot of these have warmed up. We're actually even finding the inner bay to be closer to the 70s, but the further out you go on Lake Huron, it does start to cool back down. You can see in the southern tip, we're at about 63 degrees, and then about 45 in the northern portion of Lake Huron. So
and I think that's, catching up finally, because it's been sort of pretty cool for the last few weeks. And even some people haven't been able to get in the water, but we're finally getting there where I think it's doable. Let's get in the water and enjoy.
It might take some people a little bit of time still to get in, but you can get into the water now. But we are still going to find a little bit of waves. The winds are just a touch higher today. But of course, we have the shower and thunderstorm potential. So maybe just wait to do that sunset cruise closer towards sunset. Sunset's going to be at about 9:20 p.m. tonight. So the storm should be, past.
So you should be able to get out there towards sunset. And then obviously you have the rest of the weekend to get out there and enjoy.
Exactly. So just be safe if you're headed out there on the water. I know we've had some water rescues here through the season, so just be smart if you are going to be headed out there. We are going to start to kind of recap here. We'll finish with our 7-day, but I do want to touch on temperatures today. They've really taken off. This is going to support us to have some of that storm energy. We are finding at Brown Airport in Saginaw 90 degrees, 89 in Flint, so we're getting very close. Lapeer is at 90 degrees, 91 in Marlette, and 86 in Bad Axe. So we are finding that we have that heat coming into the thumb. We have 88 in Midland, Gladwin, Mount Pleasant's reporting 86, and we have 84 for West Branch, Houghton Lake, and 86 in Oscoda. So it does feel like summer outside.
Yeah, definitely it is summer, and again, dew points are going to be out there as well. If we can see, it feels like here to dew points. So lower 70s, You're definitely feeling it. It's definitely sticky out there still.
Yes, and 70s is also kind of that number where it does support the storms. We watch that not only for what it feels like, but having moisture for those storms. So yeah, here's those feels like temperatures, mid-90s.
Upper 90s in some areas.
Right, Lapeer and Saginaw at about 98 for it feels like temperature. I know even just coming into work today, I thought, whew, it's another warm day. So we are going to find that a lot of us are back to running the air conditioning. It feels a little bit uncomfortable, but we're happy that cold front's coming through to make tomorrow a little bit better. But again, that cold front is going to be coming with some storms. Let's take another check of our radar, where we are finding, we do have that cell that's just now coming in towards Owasso. I have the lightning tracker on here, so we don't have any lightning associated with it. But this is just a lot of the rain that's starting to get going. It's starting to take off and initiate. We have still some heavy rain just west here of the business loop on 10 that's coming off through Midland. So we are going to be seeing those picking up here. And then we also have some rain in Bay County closer towards Linwood. So these are just showers at this point, but I do anticipate that they're going to start to take off.
Yeah, and I think the main area right now has been definitely down there towards Hastings, north of Kalamazoo. Lots of lightning starting to get picked up by that sort of area. So that, again, will continue to develop to the northeast of that portion. I think that's sort of a sign, yeah, that front is here, and it's going to start moving through the state.
Right, and I wanted to switch over to see if we had any warnings on that line, but so far nothing yet. But it is going to probably be moving into an environment that is maybe a little bit more suitable, which that does make sense. I'm going to pull our data back up here. So we had talked about kind of those supercells and that rotation factor, but this is our energy. So this is, you're going to find that we have a lot of energy here into the thumb. We're talking about 4,000 joules. So for us, that's a large number for storm energy. And there's a lot of storm energy even towards our north. But as these storms are starting to take off in Kalamazoo, they're kind of really hitting into that big zone. So as that cold front comes in, we are going to continue to see that come through, and that's going to push into the Tri-Cities and then into the thumb, and we'll be watching that in the Vehicle City as well.
Yeah, and again, this line's going to continue to develop. It's not, I think right now it looks a little quiet on the radar, but it will continue to develop as it moves to the east.
So make sure that you are watching radar here for the afternoon. Just a reminder that we do have the severe thunderstorm watch active until 9 p.m. That's going to be across the thumb, I-69 into the Tri-Cities, and also for Gratiot County as well. So this just means that we are watching for severe weather. So we want you to be watching for it as well. And you can do so by downloading the First Alert Weather app. It's free to download. You can get that on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. So if you have that, that's a great tool to have. I know the watches came in here on my phone because I have the app, and so that kind of helps everybody to stay on track here. If we have any warnings, those will be coming in as well. So we are going to find that we are watching for some storms for today. So of course, if we need to cut back in on our digital platforms, we will. Of course, 2 o'clock, you kind of know we always meet here Monday through Friday, but we will also have just kind of a programming note. We will have some PTO shuffling. So if we're not here at 2 o'clock, just keep tuning in. We'll be coming back. We just kind of spread the team out a little bit to help one another. So just be patient. I know everybody likes hanging out with us here at 2 o'clock, but sometimes it's the summer and we got to have a little bit of fun outside. But again, if we do need to connect, we will be here on our digital platforms if need be. Also, we will have the forecast today on our TV over-the-air channel, so on TV5. So we will be there starting at 4 o'clock. And then, of course, if we do need to cut back in on our digital platforms, we'll be at WNEM.com on the TV5 News app. We're also on Facebook and YouTube. And then we are also going to be on Apple TV, Android TV, and then you can always hop into the apps for Roku and Fire Stick. So there's a lot of places. There's no way that you can miss us. We are everywhere, and we want to make sure that you are staying weather aware. So of course you can check in with us on those digital platforms, but also you can check in with us starting at 4 o'clock on TV5. But thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure that you are staying weather aware, and we will be in touch as needed as we go into the evening.